Well, let's look at a few pinpointers I've been using for the last few years. I've used a lot more pinpointers than this in the last few years, but I just didn't have enough room on this bench here to show you all the ones that have broken on me. A lot of them are the whites. The whites TRX pinpointers are not very durable pinpointers, but if you're like every weekend you go out for a few hours, they'll last for quite a few years. But if you hunt every day, all day like me, you go through a lot of equipment. You go through a lot of hand diggers, pinpointers, detectors, coils, sheaths. Not all pinpointers are created equal, and there's not really a best pinpointer out there. There might be a best pinpointer for you. A lot of people ask questions, what pinpointer are you using, or which one's the best detector out there, which one will detect better in these certain situations. And I'm the person who people should be asking, because I have a lot of years of detecting, and I've gone through a lot of equipment. I've had so many shovels break. I've had so many pinpointers fail on me. I've had so many bags fall apart on me. I've had so many detectors just break on me, right? And there's not really a best detector out there. The best detector is going to be the one that works best for you, in your soil conditions, your digging style, your conditions that you're digging in. Maybe if you're digging in really harsh conditions, the Garrett is a super durable pinpointer, probably the most durable pinpointer out on the market. But it doesn't work for me because my hot soil, right? I want a detector all around that's going to work best for me. Dependability is high in the priority list, right? It's high on the list. But when it comes to performance, really a pinpointer, I need to perform good, because I can have several different pinpointers in my bag, which I do. I carry two. I will not go out detecting unless I have at least 2 pinpointers in my bag, sometimes 3 pinpointers. Matters on the conditions. And every single one of these whites pinpointers has performed differently on me. This pinpointer right here lasted me 6 months, and the button gave up the ghost. This pinpointer right here I used for 2.5 years. This pinpointer still works, right? Still works. But the vibrator on it gave up the ghost on me. This is one of my original whites TRX pinpointers. But it's cracked. It has a big crack going all down it, right? So I can't use it in the water. I can't use it when it's raining out. So I just don't really use that pinpointer very much anymore. But I will get it repaired. I'll just use it in a different shell there. A lot of these pinpointers, I change the guts out of them, right? Because sometimes this button, I have a few of them upstairs that I've used a lot. Actually, the yellow pinpointer, the yellow pinpointers I like a lot because they're high visibility, and I can see them if I lose them in some tall grass. I can see them a lot better. That's why some of these cases are really used a lot. But I switch guts out on these a lot, just because I go through so many pinpointers, right? Because I use the whites TRX, and they really do perform really good in my soil. There's not really a best pinpointer out there, Matters on what you want out of a pinpointer, or out of a detector, or out of a hand digger, right? And I use products that are going to last a while for me, but most of all, is dependability, right? Being reliable. Every time I turn that pinpointer on, I want that thing to work, right? And I don't want it to false too much. I want it to go deep. I want it to detect low conductive foily targets like the TRX does. All around, really, it works the best for me. But the MI6 does go deeper than the TRX. The MI4 does not. But the MI6 paired to the Deus goes deeper than any detector I've ever used, but I've been having a lot of problems with it pairing to my Deus. So, it's not really very dependable, durable detector. I have had it in the water a few times, So it is good waterproof in the water, but you know, the first 6 months I used the MI6, it performed very well, but the last month or so it's been really not performing very well. I've been losing connection, and I've tried to unpair it and then pair it and unpair it and unpair it, and just done that many times. It just I think it might be giving up the ghost on me, because I do use my pinpointers every day for a lot of hours a day, and I have it on for a lot, and I have it my pinpointers on for a lot of hours a day. And the MI6, the batteries are amazing in this pinpointer here. So I might buy another MI6 pinpointer. I'm not really sure, because I am in the market for another pinpointer here very soon. So it's either going to be an MI6, or it's going to be another F-Pulse or a Tech Point, Technetics, or a Fisher. But I really haven't had very good results in my hot soil with pulse induction machines, right? Like this Pulsedive here. Pulsedive, it's so heavy. Just a lot of stuff on this pinpointer, right? I used it for about 3 hours and I just couldn't stand it because it was just so heavy, so bulky. It falls a lot on my soil. I couldn't get it to perform right, and I've had a lot of comments on my channel. They have the same things happen with this, just Nokia pinpointers in general. Have not been really good to me. I tried the Nokia pointer for a while there, and they just don't perform very well in my hot soil. You know, I'm not sponsored by anybody. You know, I don't get paid. I'm not sponsored, so I can say whatever I want. You know, I'm a no bullshit kind of guy when it comes to the truth. And when it comes down to the best pinpointer or the best detector, there really is none. You know, that's why I'm not sponsored, because if you're sponsored by, you know, a brand of manufacturer of metal detectors or a certain product, they don't want their products being talked bad about by their sponsorees, right? Right. So I'm not into that. I want to tell you the truth. I want to show you the realities of the tools that I'm using. And I don't want to beat around the bush. I don't want to give you a bunch of misleading information. But really, the best thing that I can say, I'll show you this too. I'll put my camera on my head here. And I'll show you another thing too. I brought this down to show you. This is a pinpointer holster, right? For the Nokia, right? As you can tell, freaking huge thing, right? Not only did they make a huge freaking pinpointer, they made a huge holster for it, right? Why in the hell do you need that much support on a holster, right? And I wouldn't really trust this thing staying on your belt for too long. I mean, it's really flimsy. This thing is really flimsy here, and this, I would not trust this being on your belt for too long before this just falls off, right? Before these threads just come off there. But it does work for the Pulsedive. Garrett? Nope. XP? Nope. TRX? Nope. I don't know why they made such a huge sheath for a pinpointer, but you know, obviously you can't have this holster on you when you're in the water using the Pulsedive coil. So I'm not ever going to use that. I'm not ever going to use this pinpointer on land anyway, because it just doesn't detect foil. And the function button, just, it's a pinpointer should have one button on it, right? And it should be easy to push that button. And these buttons are just really hard to, when your pinpointer's down in a hole there, you can't tell which button you're pushing, right? And when you push that function button, it slows you down a whole minute, you know, because you have to go back in the functions and go back to functions and go back to your original program settings. And the buttons are really hard to push on this. So, you know, and it takes about a second for this thing to turn on and off. See? that amount of time having to see, it's pulsing already. Now I turn it off and it's really quiet. Maybe with the speaker, with the speaker on there, has little slots in it. It gets dirt inside there and it'll destroy that speaker, right? Now let's look at the XP holster. You know, it was really hard for me to get this pinpointer in there because it's kind of flimsy, right? It's hard to get that pinpointer in there. And unfortunately, about 3 days into my testing, field testing of the MI4, this is my MI4 holster, it broke on me. You know, this little thing, it's about ready to just break right off there, right? You know, and flips around. I did like that quality of that, but you know, this little strap on here, what the hell do you need a strap on that thing for, right? Let's look at the TRX holster. The TRX is a universal holster, right? You can pull your pinpointer out of there really easy, right? You try the MI6 in there. You can pull it out nice and easy. It's an all-around good pinpointer holster, right? Right? You can reach it, right? And then, of course, this thing doesn't even fit in there, right? I use this Pulsedive on with this holster here, and it just always wanted to fall out, right? It just doesn't go in there because it's just too big. You know, it's really top heavy, so it really puts a lot of strain on the holster when you're getting up and down, and it just sticks a long way out of this holster, so it stabs in your side every time you bend down with it in the holster there. Just trying to be honest, you know, not every pinpointer is going to work the same for you. Even the same brand. If you get two White's pinpointers, they're not going to work the same for you. You know, I can just attest for that, right? If you get two Garrett's, not both of them are not going to perform the same. You know, it's really hard to get all these electronics exactly the same, and you know, to dial them in exactly the same. But there's no best pinpointer, there's no best detector out there. Whatever's going to work best for you, and it's just a little bit of experimentation, right? That's the reason why I have so many pinpointers and detectors and different coils, because I want to experiment. I want to know what's going to work better for me. You know, it's not because I'm struggling with a certain coil or a certain pinpointer, except for the Pulsedive. I really struggled with this pinpointer. I knew I was not ever going to use this again after the first 3 hours on land. I might use it. I will definitely be using this in the water here pretty soon. But I'm just trying to be honest with you. You know, a lot of people might hate me, but the pinpointers are a big issue for me. You know, that's why you see me with a lot of pinpointers in my bag, because you know, every pinpointer has its struggles. You know, I can't carry two detectors with me. I've tried that a lot in the past, carrying two detectors with me, but it slows me down a lot. Having two pinpointers in your bag, two different brands of pinpointers in your bag, it really makes a huge difference, you know, on different conductive metals, different soils, you know, in depth. You know, all pinpointers are different, you know. I might be buying maybe a pulse induction pinpointer here pretty soon. If I can't get this MI6 to perform right, I'm gonna have to go with something else, because I cannot have a pinpointer that's malfunctioning every target. You know, if it's not engaging with my dais, and that's the reason why I have the MI6 over the MI4, is because the MI6 can go that much deeper, right? I want to get as much as I can out of my equipment. Well, thank you for watching. Please subscribe.